Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam barakatullah.
President Sir, my first question. After excelling as a missile scientist, the Honorable President has come to occupy the highest office in India. Who has been the inspiration in your life?
Well, the inspiration, of course, three people I will say, my father and mother. From young age, they taught me how curiosity is important. And then I had a very good teacher in the primary school in Rameshwaram. His name is Subramania Iyer. And not only he taught me science, and also when the way he taught, he injected in me what should be my dream, what should be my goal, and what should be my mission. So three people.
Sir, any hero or role model in your life?
When I started after education, the career I started in Indian Space Research Organization, I worked for 20 years, from 1962 to 1982, 20 years. Then I had a very rare opportunity working with three great human beings, and they were my really role model, teacher, philosopher, guide. One is Professor Vikram Sarabhai.
Yeah.
He is the great visionary for space program. Another is Professor Satish Dhawan. He is a great scientist, technologist, and he was succeeded Professor Vikram Sarabhai. He brought life to the space program, mission-oriented program. And third unique personality was Professor Brahmprakash. He was my director. And his unique quality, people say in administration and management, nobility is not possible. But he proved the administration management nobility is possible. So unique personality. So these three great human beings, Professor Vikram Sarabhai, Professor Satish Dhawan, and Professor Brahmprakash, they influenced my life throughout.
Sir, as the President, you have many distinctions. Being the first to fly in a Sukhoi fighter jet, stayed overnight underwater in a submarine, and visited the highest battlefield, Siachen. So what has been your most thrilling experience?
Well, I will say that the Siachen, going to Siachen, there is a place called Kumar, that is the highest peak.
Yeah.
And when I reached there, it was minus 35 degrees Celsius. And I saw hundreds of our jawans, officers, working in the difficult environment. And they work so hard, because they work so hard day and night. The people like us have a good sleep.
Yes, that's true.
So Siachen visit I consider the most important.
Honorable President, you have been a career scientist and now a statesman. Which role you have enjoyed playing most?
Now, when I was a scientist and teaching, we evolved what is called India 2020, how to transform India into a developed nation by 2020, economically developed nation. A team of the people who worked, I was the chairman. And when I had an opportunity to become the President of India, I came with that roadmap. The idea is to market my nation, market to parliament, market to the political system. So I find there's a continuity in my career from a scientist technologist to my present position, because the mission is finally, wherever I am, how to transform India into a economically developed
Developed
nation.
country. Yes. So, a very personal question. Your silver black long locks is the hallmark of your appearance. I recall guest articles in popular magazines by known fashion designers on how you would look like in different dresses and hairstyles. Sir, it appears you have not been influenced by what others desire of you. But I find President Kalam no different from Dr. Kalam. Any comments?
Gurjit, see, it's like this. Whatever you are, I still remember one young kid asked me a question. Mr. President, that I will give you 5 positions to you. Select one. Scientist, Muslim, and writer. Like that, so many things.
So many
which one you will select? I told him. I told the person, the young boy, neither any one of them. Whatever you say, finally, if a good human being, what one should dream to work for, to be a good human being. That's my dream. So whether President Kalam, Mr. Kalam or Dr. Kalam, finally it is my dream, my aim, my goal is to see I become a good human being and be useful to my citizens.
That's true, sir. So you have come to occupy the highest office by a quirk of fate. I would say by virtue of collision politics, persons of eminence in non-conventional occupations like yourself, a scientist, or say an economist like Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, with no background of politics, have come to grace high offices of the country. Do you foresee that able persons from other fields will get chance in future to rise to the high offices like you?
I believe, you see, nowadays, I have met so far 200,000 young people. They are primary, secondary school, up to 10 plus 2, age 17, throughout the country. Even today, I met about 10,000 students at Ladakh. And from the whole Ladakh region, students, they are assembled there in certain number each school. So one of the question is that I was asking them, what you would like to be? Will you like to be engineer? Will you like to be a manager, leader? Will you like to be a doctor or a pilot? What is your dream? And they lifted their hands. Hundreds of people lifted their hands. Then I asked, how many of you want to become political leaders? Okay. So, about 5 to 10 people lifted their hand. Then I happened to interact with them. Tell me, why you want to be a political leader? And they told me 2 things. One girl said, she will become an IAS officer, and will bring very fast decision, so poor people will get justice. And another girl said, I want to be an administrative officer, IAS, and remove the corruption. What I'm saying, there are people now, young people,
Yes.
they want to enter politics. And after all, democratic system, people these days, they have to elect the people who do tremendous work on developmental politics, not the political politics, developmental politics. The youth, India's youth, they can do that. So definitely voter, in democratic voter, in a country like ours, he's a smart citizen, and he has to select the best person who can do the development politics.
So we all know you're very fond of children. Would you like to recall, for the benefit of our listeners, some anecdotes from your childhood?
Well, I told you I had a teacher in Rameshwaram. In 1941, that is when I was a 10-year boy, and the 5th class I was studying. My teacher is Subramania Iyer, and he's a science teacher. He went to the blackboard, really a bird. He was teaching how a bird flies. He put a wing and the tail and the nose. Then started explaining. And after 30 minutes of teaching, we were 60 people in the class. How many of you understood? He asked. And many of us did not understand, nearly 50% of the class. So we lifted our hand. Sir, we did not understand. The teacher again went through, taught. And then he took us that evening. Rameshwaram is an island, my native place is an island. Took us the seashore, showed us tens and twenties of seabirds flying, and wanted us to look at the wings, birds' wings, what they do. It's flapping. When it flaps, to keep it, sustain the flight, cruise flight, that means to lift generation, to generate the lift. And then he wanted us to look how it changed the direction using the tail of the bird and the wings. Then third question he asked us, what's the locomotive force which actuates the bird? There we could not answer, but he answered that it's just like a man, human beings, life is actuating force. For birds also is actuating force. And within few minutes all of us understood how it's a bird flies in teaching. But the most important thing on that day, he injected in me, a good teacher, not only he teaches, but also he makes you dream, make you have a vision in life. That also injected. Because of that only I became a rocket engineer and space scientist.
Honorable President, first as scientist and now as the executive head, has life been all work, studies and no play for you?
Well, you can't say because I have a timetable. For example, I like music, okay? I like music, both Hindustani, Carnatic music, and particularly instrumental music. That's my favorite. So I hear music, number one. Number two, I like writing poems, poems. So I write poems in my mother tongue. And many books have come on my poems. And also I write books. Every 2 years one book I will write. So, and of course I walk. Every day 1 hour walk I do. So these are the...
That's a very good thing.
Yes.
Sir, in one of your speeches last year, I remember you mentioned how your father scolded you when you were a child for having accepted a gift from a visitor who didn't find your father home. So like all great men and biographies one reads, do you remember any instance where you have faltered in life in your formative years?
Yeah, again in the primary school, I had a headmaster in, I think it's the 7th class. His name is Kaliswara Iyer. One day he was teaching geography, 7th class. He was teaching geography. And I had a friend, Ramanatha Iyer. We are thick friends. So when he was teaching the classroom, we were not attentive. We were have their own conference, both of us, talking to each other. We should not have done. That young age we do, all of us, you would have done.
Yes,
you
also did.
So he got very much upset. He saw us and then he told us, he asked me to get up, both of us. He said, you see, teaching of a teacher is like a moving train, teaching is like a moving train. If you miss, you miss the train.
Miss the train, correct.
So nice statement he made, a wise statement. I have a mischievous idea. I made a mischief I told him, sir, if you climb on the moving train, you will fall and you will get to injury in your body and system. He got upset, terribly upset. He gave me beating. Okay, he gave me beating. I told my father. Father said, you deserve that.
Oh, well, sir, coming back to your passion, Vision 2020, 2020, as enumerated in your book, it is a dream you feel that it would take India to being a developed country. Some catalyst of growth you mentioned, knowledge, industry, talented workforce are already taking shape. But unfortunately, some pitfalls like widespread poverty, unemployment, corruption, peasant unrest in some parts of the country. Do you see your target of India attainable?
See, in democratic nation, there will be a lot of dynamics. It is true, we were about 3 years back, 26% of the people below poverty line. That is 260 million people. Today, we are about 22%. That is 220 million people out of a billion people below poverty line. We are slowly progressing. And our GDP also is increasing to 8% GDP growth. But definitely we need peace. We need peace. A corruption-free India, both are very important for development. And corruption-free India, I personally believe, today we in the parliament, in the assembly also I said, the youth, we have got nearly 54% of the people in Indian people and 50% in one of the states like Jammu and Kashmir below 25 years. They can be a big brigade. Youth can be a brigade. Wherever there is a problem of corruption, they can change their parents. Do you feel so? Is it possible?
Correct, sir.
Because they have got love.
Yes.
Children have got love. So they can change their parents. So this is one way. And second thing is, one of the other problem is that we can do it. The type of teaching in the primary education, secondary education, they should be taught, young people should be taught, we can do it, we will succeed. So that they become, instead of seeking the government jobs, they will become small entrepreneurs. And this is very important for the country.
Honorable Sir, you have travelled a lot in various capacities. I remember you undertook your first visit abroad as president only after having visited all the states of the country. Which is the place you like most travelling to in India and abroad?
I have visited, it's true, all the 28 states and 5 union territories. Now, I was looking, what is a unifying force? I am searching throughout the country, abroad. What are the forces operate to intensify unity of minds? This it's an adventure for me to find out which state they cherish unity of minds. And I have visited a number of times Jammu and Kashmir. And this one state, I have Asrat Pal shrine I have visited and spent a lot of time there. I did my prayers there. Then I visited Mata Vaishnadevi in Jammu. Then I visited in Ladakh, Gomba. I visited Gomba, and a venerable venerable monk at 90 years. I saw him, and I had a discourse with him. Then also I have visited another place in Ladakh, Pattar Sahib, Guru Nanak Dev Ji,
Ji.
Gurudwara, Pattar Sahib. And I have never seen all this, a temple, a shrine, and a Gurudwara
At one place.
and the Buddhist centers, and all of them at one place, and it enchants them. And this culture very important. At the same time, I also puzzles me such a place where the spiritual environment and unity of minds possible. Traditionally in Kashmiri they had that, and the type of problems we have, turbulence we have in the society. And today in assembly, I have put forth a peace mission for development of Jammu and Kashmir. You must study that.
Yeah.
There's a book. I have given to all the members that book. You should study. And it is my website. If you go to my website, www.presidentofIndia.nic.in, and you will see that a peace mission for J&K, 4 points peace mission for J&K development. J&K development, I have given 9 missions. 8 mission economic development, 1 is peace mission. But peace mission is the driving
Most
force.
important. Honorable Sir, you must be getting very little spare time. One knows gardening is your hobby, and you have planted even a jatropha in Mughal gardens. Apart from gardening, how does you spend your spare time?
I have answered, but I believe I like certain books. I read a lot of books. My companions are books, good friends, because the books sometimes gives you a lot of happiness. Sometimes when you are in a mood of sorrow or difficulties, and it's a good companion. Sometimes you get solution. I have in my life 3 books. Rather, there are 4 books that influenced me in a big way. 2 are holy books, and 2 are regular, normal books. One is called Empire of Mind. This book is really influenced my life. Another book, Light from Many Lamps, by Junior Watson. Third book is, of course, Al-Quran. Every day I recite, and I get a lot of inspiration, and also a spiritual feeling. The 4th book is a famous book. It's written by 2,200 years back. It's called Thiruvalluvar in Tamil. It's a code of life by a great saint, Thiruvalluvar. These are the 4 books make my life cheerful, happy, and peaceful.
So, do you ever watch films also?
I have not seen for many decades. At least 5 decades I have not seen. You are wondering how it's possible. How is it possible? Difficult. But it happened.
Honorable President, one gains that you are well versed with Bhagavad Gita. What has been the philosophy of your life, your concept of an individual and mankind?
See, the philosophy from most of the spiritual and religious books, finally, all of them say, number 1, give, go on giving, you get happiness. Have you enjoyed this in life?
Yes.
You give, you get happiness. So give, go on giving, you will get happiness. That's number 1. Number 2, you should have a mission in life. Then work, devoted work. Definitely you will have problems, but problems should not defeat you. You should defeat the problem and succeed. These are the two doctrines influenced my life. And this is what I would like to tell all the youth of Jammu and Kashmir. In life, sometime there will be some turbulence in life. But you should not get defeated by the turbulence in life. You should defeat the problem and succeed in life.
So, do you have any regrets in your life?
Well, I am the 74th orbit around the sun. 75th orbit, that means my age is 74.
75.
No, you 75 means you have to complete 75 orbits around the sun. Because Earth orbits around the sun, one orbit, 1 year. You have to complete it. So I completed 74 orbits. I am the 65th orbit now. And I think regret is my nation. I want to see as quickly as possible before 2020 economically and spiritually a happy nation. The delay is the only thing. Sometimes feel that that we should do faster. We should do faster. And our political system, instead of spending more time on political politics, they should spend more time in developmental politics. The nation should be developed. The competition between the political parties, how fast nation can be developed. 70% of the time they must spend. Now only 70% of time they spend on political politics.
Sir, President, sir, if God asks you to pray for anything, what would you pray for?
So I believe I will say, oh Almighty, provide to my billion people, my nation of my billion people, the happiness, peace and prosperity. That's what I will ask.
It's the last question. Do you have any message for the people of the world and the people of the Jammu and Kashmir in particular?
Well, people of India and Jammu and Kashmir, after all, we are one of the 28 states, Jammu and Kashmir. Definitely, I have a first and foremost message that India definitely has got potential to succeed as an economically developed nation. But many nations become economically developed nation. But we have unique quality, like Kashmiri you have, that is spiritual and cultural combination the nation has got. So the whole India is driven by the civilization heritage, the value system. That will bring a joint family system, a lot of happiness to the family, and also economic prosperity. Both put together, a prosperous India, happy India, safe India possible. The peaceful world we should work for, and that means I have a separate, I have written a paper how the world should work for a peaceful society and happy society. I said three things, three requirements. One is education with value system. All our children throughout the world, they'll be taught education with value system. And second one, the religions. So many religions we may have, but religions have got spirituality and theology. But spirituality, all the religions say the same thing. So the spiritual aspect of it, we should get connected, all religions. So we have to transform religions into a spiritual force. Third thing, as long few nations are economically prosperous, many nations are poor, you will have problem. Yeah. The international conflict will be there. So it is essential. Every nation with its using its core competence, and we should make them a developed nation as far as possible. India can play a very important role for bringing it small and underdeveloped world as a developed countries.
So we would appreciate if you speak a little bit of Hindustani for the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
I would like to greet all the people of Jammu and Kashmir. I'll tell them Mubarak ho, and they will, and also I'll direct you my greetings, Assalamu alaikum, and so Huda Hafiz. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.